I'm going to go over the use of EasyLinks. EasyLinks is the management system where we're going to be doing all of the quoting, and then they spit out all of the companies that are more competitive for your customer. Okay. And then it's a very simple system. So I'm going to get logged in here. So first thing I want to make sure you know, if you go to Facebook, I added you to the Insurely team group page. So in that team, if you go to the left here, if you go to the left, the Insurely team, where is it? Insurely team. All of the login credentials to every carrier and EasyLinks are there. Okay. So if you forgot a password or you just need to copy and paste it, just go to the Insurely team and then they'll have it right here. So like right here on this document, go down to EasyLinks, and then this is the login information. So it's SIAA Frank Jimenez. Just copy and paste it. So we're gonna log in, and then so we're gonna go SIAA Frank Jimenez. So it's already saved on mine. You're just gonna have to type yours, and then the last thing we need is the password, which is Cito74FRS. And there we go. So you're just gonna paste it. And you're in. So here's how this works. It's a very simple dashboard. I haven't used it much, but it's going to be populating the more that we use it. So on the left hand side right here, if you hover over it, this is just dashboard stuff. Right here where this little folder with the man, this is where we're going to start our quoting, but I'll come back over that. Right here is where we have policy, transactions, commissions. Then you have like campaign, sending you emails, save reports, stuff like that, settings. So the only thing you have to worry about right now is this folder with the dude, and then we're gonna create a new applicant. That's how you start. That's how you start a new quote. Okay, so when you click on create new applicant, what's gonna happen is it's gonna tell you to put in the first few sections here. So first name. Remember, the only things you have to fill out are the things on the left hand side with the red dot. So I'm gonna do Frank Jimenez. We're gonna do Arizona, lead source. You don't have to list it, and then you don't have to do VIP customer sign, none of that stuff. You don't have to do or a template. So you're gonna create new applicant. Now what's gonna happen once you put in the basic information? There's tab by tab, and you only have to fill out is the stuff that's in red, right? So it's very simple, and then it goes tab by tab as you continue. So right here, the gender, you have to do male or female. Put in the date of birth, it's 12/1993. So I go by section. So this section first, and then this section next. Education, you don't have to do it. Industry, so they always want to do everything except unemployed. So if you don't know the unemployment, don't do unemployed or other. Just do whatever, and then you can verify with the customer. Because if you do unemployed or other, they will rate them higher. And then marital status. So just in case you didn't know, if you put married, it's going to ask you for the spouse information down here as well. If you put single, it takes that out, and then you just have to fill in this basic stuff. So depending on the quote status, right? So I'm going to do single for now. I'm going to put the address, and then I'm going to do the city, Sahuarita, and then it's going to make you choose the county as well. So I'm in Pima County, and then the zip code 85629. So once that's done, hit validate. And the system's going to make sure that it's a legit address. So it'll say validate, and it'll show up in green. And then the time at address, just ask how many years they've been there. If you don't know, I just typically put 1 to 5. So I'm doing 1 right there. Put it in email. And then do an alternate email, Frank. You don't have to do, my bad, you don't have to do alternate. If you go to the right, we're going to do phone. You can do homework, mobile extension, whatever. So I'm going to do mobile, and then put in the area code with that. Boom. And then fax number, so on and so forth. You don't have to do the information you don't have. Now, very important, once you're done with the details, the basic details, these tabs down here, what you're going to do is you're going to save and go auto, okay? So once you do that, do not use a template. You're going to continue. And then when you continue, it's going to take you to the auto information. So it's going to show incomplete in red until we finish everything. So these companies down here are companies that we have access to, so you can have them all checked off. So what you're going to do is on the bottom right hand side, you're going to hit next policy info. So right here is where we start putting in prior information. So this system will not pull prior insurance. The carriers that we quote with will. So it's important that we ask them detailed information on the prior. Otherwise, we're going to get bad rates that spit out. So if you know that they have farmers, LOL, and they're 2550, you don't have to put in premium. You don't have to put in the accurate expiration date. That all verifies with the carrier. But let's just say, January 1st, 2018. Years with prior carriers, let's say they were farmers for 5 years. With continuous coverage, let's say they had 10 years of continuous. Credit check authorized, you said yes. New policy term, we always want to do 12-month. Package, just do, if you know for sure it's going to include homeowners, just do yes so you could get the homeowner discount on there. And then the effective date, if it expires on the 1st, but they want to make it effective on the 25th and you want to change those dates, so make sure you got that. Encompass, these questions down here, leave them all as is, but Encompass, this is the number of years they're an agency customer, just put 0. So again, anything with a red arrow or anything that's highlighted red you want to fill out. So we're going to do next. Now, this is where you can add drivers. So this is all the data you added in for me. You do not have to put in a driver's license number, but what I recommend you do and do the 8 digits. So D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you were to add a different driver, you do the 8 digits, except at the end you put a 1. We do not need the driver's license until we verify reports, right? So once you're done with that, you're going to go to vehicles, and it's the same thing here. So if you have a VIN number, you can put in the VIN number. But if you do not have that, we're going to do year, make, and model. So we'll do 2017 Honda Type R. Or we'll do 2018, sorry. So 2018 Honda. Okay, never mind. We'll go back to Honda then. My bad. So Honda, whatever. Just do like Honda Civic EX. And then you could do the submodel. You have to click the arrow just to click like a base, like a base VIN number. And then you can go ahead and hit next. So if you want to add vehicles, if we go back to vehicles, you want to add them, you would just drop down and you would do 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you're trying to do. The next page is going to be vehicle use. Very simple. You just do pleasure, work from school. I always do pleasure or work from school. You don't have to do mileage, but annual miles, I do 12,000. Ownership, you do own, lease, or finance. I'm just going to do own on this one. You don't have to do anything else on that, okay? On incidents, it says very similar to what you do with farmers. So if they had an accident, you want to add an accident, right? And then the descriptions right here, at fault or not at fault. Always put more than 0 if there was property damage, because it won't count it if there's no accident. And then try and get the date as accurate as possible. So same thing with the violations. If they had a speeding ticket, you just add in the speeding ticket right here, and then you can select the violation that they had, and it'll rate it on the quote. And then when we get to coverage, this is where you select everything. So comprehensive, collision, towing, right? Extended transportation is rental, and then bodily injury. Right, so we do 2550, property damage, let's say 100,000, medical payments, let's do 0. Residence, this is where you put whether it's own or home. Don't do any of these discounts right here because it's not going to include them, so you can ignore those. So the only questions you need to answer are the one with the red arrows. So progressive, will the spouse have a policy? We're going to say no for now, and then we're going to do next. And then this is the percentage of when people drive the vehicles. Now, when you have more than one person, it has to equal 100%. So you could do 49 to 51. You can't do 50-50. So you could do like 60-40, 30-70, so on and so forth. Once you have that done, it takes you to this final screen right here. And just kind of gaze through it. Again, you have to answer everything with red arrows. So like this, Austin Mutual is asking you for a social. Just put in 9, so 999999999 to get rid of that. And down here, carrier progressive, enroll in snapshot, we're always going to say no. How long have you had the Civic? So you got to answer these questions. And then the carrier or the Safeco insurance carrier agent code is right here as well. So you just got to drop down and select it, and everything else is answered. There's no red arrows, okay? So once you do that, your quote is done. And if there is an error, it'll tell you, hey, you have to finish up filling out whatever this is. But if it's all green, you can get a quote. So we can submit it to the carriers. And then once we submit it to carriers, this is where you can prepare like 4 different proposals. So if you want to do one for $25.50, one for $50, $100, one for $100, $300, so on, you just got to check these boxes and they'll give you those different proposals. So if you hit continue, what I always do is I just get one proposal and I get the carrier. So these are all my carriers. So we're going to hit submit. So once we figure out who the cheapest company is going to be, that's where we want to go ahead and adjust the coverages, because most of the time it's always going to be that company. But what we're looking for here is 12-month premiums, not 6, right? So with Travelers, we have this premium at $1,800 for the 12 months with a down payment of that installment. So it just gives you a high overview. So it's nothing that sorry, I was looking at something. It's not going to be 100% accurate, but it gives you an idea of the rate, right? So Progressive for 6 months is always going to be broken up by premium, not by the term, is $1,100 every 6 months. So if we do that by year, that's like $2,200. So that's obviously more expensive than Travelers. Mercury is $2,400, right? So at this point, let's say we go with Mercury. If we do Mercury or if we do Progressive as an example, it's going to show up on the right-hand side. You could click the easy login, or it says to access your quote, click here, and you can see here we also offer Allstate. Here's the Safeco proposal, the Infinity proposal, the Nationwide proposal, and then we have these other carriers that we still don't have yet because we don't have our location. So once we have all of those, let's say you want to go with, let's say you want to go with Progressive for now. We're going to do the easy login. And what it's going to do, it's going to port you over to Progressive's website. Make sure you don't have the pop-up blocker on, because if you do, it won't allow it. So always allow the pop-ups on the computer. You might have to go back and do it again. So let's do the easy login again for Progressive. And now what it's going to do, it's going to log us into Progressive. Right? And then the quote is going to be pre-populated with all of the data that we just put in. So each carrier has their own website. It's all the same. Like, it's all just data entry, verifying reports. So in this case, Progressive is making me log in. So I'm going to go back here and get the login to Progressive. I'm just going to paste it. And then I'm not sure. So basically all we're doing is just trying to get logged in. So once you log in, the quote's going to be prepared. And I'm not sure why it's not logging in. 0667, Ferrari 26. And it's not working. So once you log in, that's a whole different story on the carrier website, and we can go over those. So that's basically how to use EasyLinks. So just practice doing a few quotes and getting a few carriers spit out. Remember, we only have access to Progressive, to Mercury, to Safeco, Infinity, and Nationwide right now. As soon as we get the office space, we'll have access to Travelers. We'll have access to MetLife, to all of these other guys that are listed right here. So let's try and do a few quotes, and let me know if you have any questions, man. Thanks.